Grace and peace, you guys. Welcome back to Unshakable with April Chapman, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. You guys, I am in rare form today. I am in rare form, and I am in a particularly good mood because I am no prophet. Okay, I am not a prophet. I don't believe that the Lord has uniquely equipped me with some gift of prophecy. However, in this instance, I think I might just be able to say that I spoke prophetically recently. What am I talking about? Well, about a week ago, I did a live stream where I said that the Democrats must have tapped on the shoulder certain key elements within the Congressional Black Caucus, and they have probably sent out their clarion call and said, you guys, we're not doing well. We're losing the blacks. We're losing the blacks, and they're running away, and they are functioning in their freedom. So therefore, we need you to go on the Black Church Tour. We need you to go on the Black Church Tour circuit, and we need you to get in these pulpits. And we need you to get the black folks riled up, okay? We need you to go in there, stand in the pulpit. We need you to lie, scheme, say whatever it is that you need to say. But we need you to galvanize our base because we're losing our grip. And so I've already done a video on James Clyburn in a church, lying, skinning and grinning like he usually does. And then I also did a video on Jasmine Crockett, also behind a pulpit or, I don't know, a podium in a church, speaking to the black church about how she knows black people and she knows the black church and she knows that they're not on board, historically with the LGBTQ agenda, but how she had to go around and educate them and set the record straight. And so today, for our listening and entertainment pleasure, we've got another one. We've got another black politician. This one's not a congressman. No, they had to dig real deep down. They had to, take it down at the state representative level. And we have State Representative Justin Pearson, who was recently seen in a church. Poor thing. Some individuals like this, on one level, you want to feel bad for them, but then you're like, no, I don't. He was in a church, and bless his little thumping gizzard, he tried to preach, and he tried to hoop in a typical black church, black preacher homiletic style. And y'all, it was a big fail. And this video, to be fair, is really not a criticism on his homiletic style or lack thereof. No. It is to highlight and to prove my point that I said the Democrats play in your face, and it is not the white conservative or the Republican Party that's the enemy to black people, but rather it is the white liberal who tells the black liberal what to do. And in this instance, the black liberal is the arm that the puppet master is controlling, and the goal is to convince black people that I know things may be bad right now. And I know we didn't win. But what we cannot do is we can't have you function in your freedom and starting to think clearly and sober-mindedly about these issues. We need to keep the boogeyman of the white man and white supremacy and conservatism. We need to keep that on the forefront of your mind. And the best way to get into the hearts and minds of vulnerable, or should I say naive, and individuals who are black Americans in this country who are grieved by the events of the past is to use the church. It's to use the church and to infiltrate the church, because that is one of the best ways for you to disseminate your message and to get widespread acceptance. So, what we're going to do is we are going to do a reaction. We're going to do a reaction, but before I react to the sermon for your listening pleasure, we need to go back a little bit to about the year 2016. And what we need to do in 2016 is to present to you who I believe Justin Pearson might actually be. Here's the thing. I can't prove if what you're about to see is the real Justin Pearson or if the Justin Pearson you see today is the real Justin Pearson. Now, I have some thoughts. The Justin Pearson we see today is not very believable. So I really believe that this is who he is. However, if you want to gain notoriety and to climb the ladder in Democrat politics, you have to be whatever they tell you they need you to be, whatever they feel you need to be in order to garner and secure the Black vote in perpetuity. And so this Justin Pearson, he would not have gained much headway if he remained the person you are about to see now. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this individual to see if we can figure out if this is the real Justin Pearson or this was the fake Justin Pearson.
Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of PSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent all voices in a conversation? I wanted to do this by partnering with organizations from the Boone Democrats to the Boone Republicans. I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle.
Seemed like the NRA and gun lobbyists might win. But oh, that was good news for us. I don't know how long this Saturday in the state of Tennessee might last. But oh, we have good news, folks. We've got good news that Sunday always comes.
Okay. So I showed you a snippet of, it looks like he was running for some position in student government where he attended university. And the individual that we saw there was very poised, very presidential, very professional and sober-minded. He was communicating effectively. His goal and vision was to bring together both Republicans and Democrats. And it was a whole kumbaya kind of message. And he was kneeling down, getting with the people, and just really asserting himself as a thought leader and a change maker and a mover and a shaker on campus as it related to politics and political thought. And then the video clip shifts, right? And it shifts to this individual that you're looking and you're like, oh, okay, this is his twin brother, right? It's this individual with this big out of shape afro, right? Real ethnic like. And listen, I'm not trying to be funny. I really don't think that afro is real. It could be, I don't know. Maybe he actually grew his hair out, but I'm not convinced. But anyway, this individual seems to be like soul brother number one. He got a little bit, little bit more soul. He's still corny, right? He's still corny and a little, geeky looking, but he's got glasses, right? Invoking the spirit of Malcolm X. And he's changed completely the cadence of his voice to match that of someone channeling the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, now this state representative is from Tennessee, and so he's grown up in the South, and maybe he felt some sort of kindred spirit to MLK. But if you notice, there is a stark difference between the individual you saw at the beginning of the video and the individual that you saw toward the end. And now the one you see toward the end of this one, he a little firebrand, okay? He's a revolutionary of sorts if you've ever met one. I mean, he's starting up all kinds of chaos on the floor in the state house. He recently jumped up in somebody's face, getting real froggy and aggressive. He introduced a bill, or attempted to introduce a bill, because now this part is not funny, but it's part of the story, and I need to give the context. His brother, younger brother, recently committed suicide, and he used a firearm to do it. Condolences to the family. However, Justin decided to Democrats do this, they will use legitimate tragedies that they've experienced, that their families have gone through, where they are actually grieving, and they will use them for political expediency. Just like Joe Biden used the untimely death of his son and his daughter and his wife. What he did was he capitalized on that tragedy and used it for political purposes. Here, recently, we had Justin Pearson on the state house floor attempting to push gun reform, as they would call it, but I'd call it gun control, by saying we need to push a gun control bill because my little brother used a gun to commit suicide and delete himself, so therefore no one can have guns. We need to get rid of all the guns because my brother chose a gun was his weapon of choice in order to end his life. We can go ahead and take a look at that.
The Tennessee House of Representatives. It is a pathetic excuse for you to not answer the question of why we are doing nothing about the gun violence epidemic than to personally attack me. But let me explain to you what I have been doing, Representative, since you asked. My brother, Temperance Darnell Pearson, one of the loves of my life, passed away from gun suicide on December 1st of 2024. And since that happened, it shattered my family like gun violence has shattered so many families. Shattered my nephew's lives, my mother, my father, my other brothers who are remaining. I buried my brother. I planned for his entire funeral. My fiance made his obituary. I made sure that he was taken care of, even in death. That's what I've been doing. But also, not just that, I went to all of my nephew's schools. I met with their principals and their teachers to ensure that they are okay. I gave them and made sure that they had grief counseling and that they're seeing a psychiatrist. That's what I've been doing. And while you're talking about hard work, you need to realize that our job is not just in this state house with these marble floors. Our jobs are on the streets and in the communities that we serve. And so while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting transgender children, while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting the poor, hurting the marginalized, hurting the disenfranchised, while you've been here passing bills that have not ended poverty, while you've been here passing bills that have not helped people who need Medicaid expansion, while you've been here doing the hard work of making sure that our state is not the state that it can be, because you have decided.
Representative Pearson.
Reality of our situation is only to be.
Representative Pearson.
While you've been here doing that, I've been in my community.
Representative Pearson.
Meeting with young people, going to school, registering.
Representative Pearson.
Voters. That's what I've been doing. Hard work doesn't just happen with this legislation. It happens.
Representative Pearson.
And if you will, Chairman, just one more minute, because Chairman Former seems to think that he somehow.
Representative Pearson.
Seems to understand my life better than I do. You need to understand that hard work isn't just sitting there and shutting up and passing a bill. It's doing the hard work of justice and love and mercy. It's
okay.
the voices of the poor and the marginalized, and it's taking your
all right.
and your pain and your heartache, and it's standing in front of people who you know may not like you, standing in front of people who you know will disrespect you, people who you know will talk down to you, and saying in the honor of people like my brother, in the honor of people who have died from gun violence, in the honor of people who have died from suicide, we need to pass better laws,
Representative Pearson,
and fight for a state where everybody is able to live more freely from the pain of gun violence that me and my family are experiencing. That's what you need to think about, Chairman Farr. Come on. And if you can't think that, learn to shut up.
all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Learn to shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen. Chairman Farmer, briefly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Pearson, it seems that it's very common in your party when you disagree with a comment. Now, it's not disrespectful to you. That you resort to yelling. Basically, everything you just told me, you just did. I have a family. I've made sacrifices every year. So
Representative Pearson. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Representatives, Mr. Representatives, I know this is a very difficult time for you to be back up here. I'm sorry for all the things that you've experienced. You've been a great uncle. You've done the things that you were supposed to do to help your family. I understand that. If I was in the same situation you were in, I would be doing the same thing. I understand that. Okay, I know tensions are high up here today.
Disrespect is high here.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our best to be as civil as we can up here, okay? And I appreciate that very much. So, with that being said, does anyone wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
The noes prevail. House Bill 1392 fails.
No, sir.
5-minute recess.
And so, now that you've seen that, what we're going to do, we're going to fast forward. You can see the antics and the animation and the chaos and just the unruly behavior that this individual has been trained to exhibit. I'm convinced that Marxism done got a hold of this young man, and I don't know if he actually believes in the tenets of Marxism. What I believe we're witnessing is a plant. We're witnessing a plant that has recognized that he can use Marxism and social justice advocacy to enrich himself and to push himself forward into the political conversation. And it's going to be for his benefit. And so somehow, I don't know who is in charge over there at the DNC, but they tapped him on the shoulder and said, we need to add you to the Black Church tour. And we want you to go into a church and give a homily or a sermon or an exhortation of some sort. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look. Shout out to Woke Preacher Clips. We're going to take a look at this sermon, and you guys, I cannot be held responsible for any sort of laughter or amusement you might experience at the expense of this content.
There indeed is a tabletop. But underneath every tabletop are some legs. The tabletop is anti-LGBTQIA plus legislation, homophobia, and transphobia. But what are the legs? Refusing to provide rights to same-sex couples as heterosexual couples, bullying young children who are being refused to say their pronouns, allowing parents to harm their children by refusing to give them necessary health care.
A few moments later.
God sent table flipping you and you and you and you. Yes, God sent you to flip the tables of poverty. God sent you to flip the tables of destitution. God sent you to tip the tables of the attacks on humanity. God sent you. 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 God brought you out of the cosmos to flip the tables of this whole world. God called you out of heaven to flip the tables of this whole world. So no weapon formed against you will be able to prosper. No weapon formed against you will be able to prosper. So speak on, fight on, believe on, flip the tables, 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 let them talk, flip the tables, let them hate you, flip the tables. Let them know, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear, I will fear no evil, for thine are with me, thine rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the day. All the days of my life, surely goodness and mercy shall follow all the days. Yes! Somebody say yes! Somebody say yes! If you a table flipper with a table flipping Jesus, say yes! Say yes! Say yes! Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Glory! Glory! Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Yes! 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 Thank you. Thank you.
Whose man's is this? Whose man is this? And whose church is this? Y'all need to be ashamed. Y'all need, listen, first of all, y'all, okay, I saw this video on my way to church yesterday. And you know, I'm in the car and I'm watching it. Y'all, the part where the camera zoomed out and they got to catch him running, y'all, I had not seen that part. I don't think I had watched it all the way to the end. So that was the first, listen, I'm sorry. Y'all, I'm ignorant. I'm sorry. Listen, we having fun today. If this church did not want people clowning this tomfoolery right here, this stir-fried foolishness, marinated and dumb, they should have pulled this. This video should have been ripped off the internet. The moment he finished, they should have been like, yeah, we need to pull that down. We need to pull this down. We cannot have our church out here looking crazy over this foolishness. I'm sorry. We got to watch it again. This is my favorite part right here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I shall fear, I will fear no evil, for thine are with me, thine rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the day.
Run for Jesus, Justin!
All the days of my life.
Y'all, look at the people. Look at these people's faces. He's giving it his all. He has channeled G.E. Patterson. He has channeled a little bit of James Cleveland. He's channeling every black church musician, pastor, he's channeling whoever he can to really give this sermon as much gusto as possible. And no matter how hard he is giving it, they not picking up what he's putting down. Like, they're just like, I don't feel bad for these people. Listen, this is funny. And I'm going to clown and I'm going to watch this over and over and over again. Oh, please believe it. But my overarching purpose of doing this video, yes, it was to laugh and to show my whole entire tale, because this is funny. This was just funny. First of all, shout out to Woke Preacher Clips, who actually did voice crack count on this man. First of all, when I tell you guys, there is not a masculine male left over in the Democrat Party. If you are a masculine male and you're still a Democrat, I have every right to look at you suspect in all kinds of sideways. You should not be attempting to hoop and preach like this and your voice is cracking this much. You need to lay off the soy milk. The hormone imbalance is, listen, I get it. We're gonna have to get you the pellets, get you some level of testosterone regulation, because this ain't it. This is not it. But here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, in a serious manner, how the Democrat Party is playing Black America for a bunch of fools. This party is playing in your face. They willfully, blatantly, and just with unapologetically, they insult you. And they do so by saying, we're going to send people like this into your communities, and we're going to use your Black church pastor, compromised pastor, because he's so compromised, he'll sell you out for a bottle of liquor and a pork chop sandwich. Whatever they done promised this pastor, he done sold these people out and exposed them to this foolishness, because he don't love God and he don't love these sheep. And the Democrats play in your face by putting this puppet mastered, he is a pimp. Actually, he's not a pimp. I'm sorry. The Democrats are the pimps. He is a puppet mastered prostitute who has pimped himself out to the highest bidder, i.e. the Democrat Party. And he has taken on this entire persona of this Afro wig and this cadence in his voice and this attempt to try to connect with the people. He is playing in your face. We already know that this gentleman, he knows how to communicate in a completely different way, in a matter-of-fact and concise way to present his ideas. He knows how to do that. We saw him do that when he was younger in 2016. Why is it here that in order to appeal to the Black community, he is purposely and ignorantly trying to sound as if he is a Black preacher, because in his mind, he believes that is the only language that the Black community understands anyway. A clown in a pulpit, hooping, hollering, and running around a church, stringing together a bunch of nonsensical syllables and phrases that don't have nothing to do, just disjointed, don't have nothing to do with each other. And when they hear that, that's gonna sell them. That's gonna sell them, and they're going to buy in to whatever it is that we have on the agenda for the Black community and the Democrat Party as general. Now, before the hoop started, this Negro dry snitched on himself and got these people to dull their senses long enough to where he actually talked about that what we're dealing, y'all, we need to flip over tables because there are some people in the government that won't allow us to pay for gender affirming care. He slid it in real sly during the hoop. See, sadly, in the Black church, and this is a criticism, and I want you to take it as such, and I don't care if you don't like it, we have been so programmed to dull our senses, so much so, to where a pastor could get into a pulpit and he could say, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. And if he says it with the right cadence, tonality, texture, and passion in his voice, it can get you to jump up and holler and say, talking about preach, pastor. Did you hear what I just said? He just said, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Just a phrase of disjointed nursery rhymes that don't have nothing to do with anything. But if he says it the right way, he can convince you and whip you up into an emotional frenzy and get you to buy in. That is exactly what Justin Pearson just did. He got this black congregation to start standing up and clapping and affirming him in support of gender affirming care and the LGBT community. And he cloaked it under this compassion. But he is basically saying, no, this is who we are. This is what the Democratic Party represents. We need you to flip over some tables in order, in full-throated support of gay marriage, being able to love who you want, to pay for children who need care when they're confused about their gender and want to be a different gender. Oh, you missed it? Oh, okay. Let me help you out. Oh, it's in there. It's right there at the beginning. When he started talking about flipping them tables. Watch this.
The tabletop is anti-LGBTQIA plus legislation, homophobic.
See, the tabletop is anti-LGBTQ legislation. And he wants you, it's got legs, but you got to get riled up and start flipping those tables over, because any legislation that's against anti-LGBTQ plus legislation is worthy of your righteous indignation. Just like Jesus went in the temple and flipped over tables because they had turned the temple into a house of commerce and not a house of prayer. He wants you to have that same energy for the pro-LGBT agenda, because the other side is trying to do anti-LGBT agenda. You think anybody there caught that and sat down and was like, why you got this heretic up in our pulpits? Whose church is this? Oh, I'm going to find out whose church it is, but let them finish.
And transphobia, but what are the legs? Refusing to provide rights to same-sex couples as heterosexual couples, bullying young children.
No. You're in a church saying that the legs of this table is refusing to give rights to same-sex couples just like heterosexual couples. In one sentence, he just got you to affirm gay marriage as if they are equal and the same and on par with what married couples, a man and a woman in a bona fide state of matrimony, get to experience lawfully. There are no rights that homosexuals as individuals do not get to enjoy. It's just not true. But what he wants you to do is conflate the idea that, well, these couples are just as legitimate as these couples over here. And these people are standing up clapping. They ain't listening they are not picking up what he's putting down. They're not.
Who are being refused to say their pronouns, allowing parents to harm their...
Yes, people are being refused to say their pronouns because it's binary. You're either male or female, and we should recognize on sight exactly what you are. It has never been a normalized function in human development or in the course of communication in a healthy, functioning social society for people to lead with, hey, how you doing? My name is April. My pronouns are he, her, or him, shim, them, they. Right, you know what I'm saying? Zer, zim. But here, he wants you to champion this cause as if this is a travesty and this is what the right is doing, and we need you to be on board because these people should be allowed to use their pronouns. He is in a church championing for this, and they're standing up clapping. At least maybe not yet, I don't know. But let's listen to the next point.
Children by refusing to give them necessary health care.
That necessary health care, there is no child No child being refused necessary health care. What taxpayers are saying is, no, I don't want to pay for some perverted, freak, nasty parent to want to use my tax dollars to transition a daggone minor. That's what we don't want. Now, I would love, y'all listen, I would love to show this again with him running around this church and him squealing and squalling like a little beta blocked soy boy man that he is. But I don't think my insides could take another chuckle of that magnitude. But here's what I will say. What I will say is that I am paying very close attention to what the Democrat Party is doing. This is a concerted effort for them to identify compromised Black pastors who, for 30 pieces of silver and a bottle of liquor and a pork chop sandwich, are going to sell out their congregations to give these pulpit pimp politicians access to their congregations to push this diabolical leftist Democrat agenda. If you've not read this book, it's called The Iron Triangle. Let me explain something to you. This book changed my life and put me on a trajectory to where my eyes were wide open. And now I can see as clear as day the actual playbook of the Democrat Party and how they're using three prominent and influential components of the Black community in order to effectively keep Black people poor, uneducated, and at the bottom of every socioeconomic category that can be measured. It's the Black preacher, the Black civil rights worker, and the Black politician. And I'm so blessed and pleased that my client and brother in the Lord, Vince Everett Ellison, is the author of this book. He lays out the ideological shift that helped him to wake up and realize exactly what we just witnessed. Let me explain something to you. When you read this book, you will not be able to unsee what he vividly paints for you to see in word pictures. You're not going to be able to go back because you're going to be like, I know too much. Let me read something to you really quickly. Let me just read something to you really quickly. He says here that Marxism is slavery on steroids. A very small group of the majority controls all means of production and distribution. They want war and peace. They control war and peace. They control who gets rich and who remains poor. They eradicate all institutions, including the family, universities, schools, private property, etc. Then they usually take the members of the minority class and exterminate them all. Listen to this. Why then would the Black preachers choose to collude with a political movement that wants to eradicate the church? You're saying, well, how do we know they want to eradicate the church? Because they're Marxist minded. You can't have God or the church in a Marxist communist system. And we know they want to eradicate the church because if you look at the policies of the Democratic Party, they are against religious liberty. And then this gentleman stood in a pulpit and advocated for every policy he advocated for are things that the Lord hates and has already spoken clearly in his word. It says this is not permitted. So here it says, why then would the Black preacher choose to collude with a political movement that wants to eradicate the church? They've been part of one for the past 50 years anyway. If it doesn't matter to them that the Democrats support abortion, LGBTQ lifestyle, and the destruction of the family, why would it bother them that this same party supports atheism and the destruction of the church? They're just evil traitors and cannot see past the money they are being paid by their handlers in the Democratic Party. Pimps, drug dealers, and assassins possess the same spirit. Let me explain something to you. This video was funny and it made me laugh. I laughed so hard. I purged. I laughed so hard, okay? But this is no laughing matter. This Justin Pearson character, Jasmine Crockett, James Clyburn, Maxine Waters, you name it. If they are members of the Congressional Black Caucus, they are the enemy of Black Americans, period. And I'm waiting to see how many more are going to make their appearance between now, starting now, and the midterms. They're gonna slide their little slithery, wicked, demonic selves up into a black church pulpit and spew more of this garbage. I'm waiting to see. This is definitely a concerted effort. They are on a black church tour. I want to see which next black Democrat's gonna be dumb enough to do it. They got 3. I know those first 3 absolutely volunteered to do it. Absolutely. Because they're some of the biggest sellouts, both Jasmine Crockett and James Clyburn. I just want to see if they'll get old Aunt Maxine, if she'll do it. Ilhan Omar is not going to do it. AOC is not believable enough to do it. So they might get somebody like Lucy McBath. Raphael Warnock is already doing it, you know what I'm saying, because he's in a pulpit. So keep your eyes on this. But you guys, let me know what you think. And am I just, this theory is so far off and I'm just nowhere close to being accurate? Or are you like, I see exactly what this is. Yes, this was funny. We gonna clown in the comments like nobody's business. But that these pulpits that are for sale, every last one of these black church pastors, they need to be exposed and their churches need to be marked and avoided. Oh, and I will be dropping the name of and a link to this church in the comments. I'll probably either pin it or put it in the description box below. But whatever you guys think, let me know down in the comments box below. And until next time, you guys, grace and peace.